Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jukka Manner and I'm the CEO for the Sparklike company. Welcome to join us to this recorded presentation which takes place in our premises in Helsinki, Finland. I'm glad to have this opportunity to introduce to you the company Sparklike, our technology, and also the advantages and benefits we can offer the insulating glass manufacturers, door and window manufacturers, different kind of test labs, among the others. Our message to you is don't break your insulating glass unit. We want to tell you today about the non-destructive insulating gas measuring. Sparklike was founded in year 2000 and we are located in Helsinki, Finland. We operate globally through partners and distributor network. During these years, we have delivered over 2,000 measuring devices all over the world. We are the developer of the world's first and only gas field analyzers for insulating glass. Devices are based on patented technology. It allows the measuring of the insulating glass gas concentration without breaking the glass. The non-destructivity allows the tested IG units to be delivered to the customers. Also, the already installed IG units can be tested, and in addition, performing of automated testing of the IG units in the production line is possible. The gas concentration can be analyzed from both double and triple glazed units with laminations or coatings. The Sparklike product scope consists of three different product groups. First, we have the Sparklike handheld for a standard double glazed unit measuring. The technology of this handhelds is based on the plasma emission spectroscope. The second product group is the lasers, and there we have the Sparklike Laser Portable. It's for measuring the double and triple glazed units with lamination and coatings. This technology is based on TDLAS laser technology. The third product group we have is the line integrated solutions, and there we have the Sparklike Laser Integrated, which offers an automated non-destructive measuring of double and triple glazed units, and this can be integrated in any IG lines. And now we'd like to introduce to you in more details the recently launched new Sparklike Laser Portable 2.0. The Sparklike Laser Portable, as mentioned, it's for measuring the double and triple glazed units with laminated or coated glasses. The device measures the oxygen and converts the results to gas concentration of argon, krypton or other insulating glasses. The device is battery operated. We have the main unit, and then we have the measuring head, and then the touch screen. The main benefits of the Laser Portable are the following one. First of all, easy and quick measuring of the gas concentration, but also the thickness of the glass and spacers. The other one is the non-destructivity, which already mentioned here, means that you can deliver the tested units to the customer. Third point is the measurement can be done in the production line, at any point of the production line, but also after the production, before and after the installment of the windows and doors. The portable, the compact case enables the movement of the device easily. As we were developing the new version of the Laser Portable, we had in mind some new features which would make the measuring even more easy and quick. The main features, new features, what we have in the Laser Portable 2.0 are the following one. First of all, we have the new design of the measuring head, which has 3 handles and 3 buttons, which enables the measuring in different positions. Secondly, regarding to the vacuum creeping against the IG units, there's the indicator lights which tells when the reading is on and when the reading is about to end. the smaller case and then the big 150 millimeter pneumatic wheels makes it easy to move in different areas. As options, you have in the Laser Portable now, you have the barcode reader and the Wi-Fi. Then there is the technical support, which is now possible with the remote connection. In addition to these points, there are many other small minor improvements which makes the device easier to use and measure. And now we want to demonstrate the Laser Portable's features and benefits for the users, and I will ask Mauri to do the first demonstration measurings. Please go ahead, Mauri.
I am Mauri Saksala, Director of Line Integrated Solutions with Sparklike. Let me show you how the measurement is done in practice. Measurement with double unit, very simple, use 3 handles, starting button with every one of them. You put the measuring head on top of the glass, press the starting button, and let the vacuum gripping hold the measuring head against the glass during the whole measuring cycle. The results are shown in the display, the real thickness of the glass, real cavity, real thickness of the second glass. As we can see, there are 4 millimeter glasses with 50 millimeter spacer, gas concentration 93.8, very typical result. With Sparklike Portable, it is possible to measure double units and triple units with both cavities separately. The recording of the glass is done for every single measurement. There are two possibilities to identify. You can use the virtual keyboard, which is integrated to the system, or the barcode reader. Later on, it's possible to trace every single measurement based on the recorded reference numbers whatsoever. The measurement of triple unit is done similarly as with double unit, and the measurement is based on the TDLAS laser, which is measuring the effect of laser intensity to the second harmony of the oxygen. The measurement results are shown in the display with the real dimensions with the accuracy of 50 microns. All the measurements are also recorded to the results, the TXT file that is easy to be converted to Excel or any other system, basic, simple TXT. Every single measurement is recorded with the date, time, first glass thickness, first cavity, second glass, second cavity, and so on, and can be traced at a later date anytime. With easy movability and 3-hour battery, it's possible to take Portable anywhere, in the factory, between glass racks, in the buildings, wherever you want. It's independent. Typically, companies are targeting to have gas concentration, argon, krypton, sp6, whatever, between 90 and 95%. The reason is that if you fill up below 90%, there is a potential issue with thermal insulation capability. And if you try to have more than 95, it takes longer time, which is having a negative effect to the cycle time with the gas press. Sometimes you get the reading with number 1. It means that the glass is empty of insulating gas. There is 1% argon in the atmosphere. That's the meaning of the reading. The possible reasons for such a case is that, first of all, the glass is supposed not to be filled up at all. It has been ordered without any gas. Second possibility, that there is some leakage due to the improper sealing of the unit. And the third possibility is that there is something wrong with the gas filling process, which is causing the improper gas fill or even empty glass.
As a final demonstration spot, we have a situation where we are at the building and we are measuring the already installed windows with a laser portable. As mentioned before, due to the portability and easy to move features of the laser portable, it's easy to have the device on the construction as well as in the production site. To summarize our presentation, I would like to point out the main features and benefits of the Laser Portable 2.0. First of all, the measuring of double and triple glazed units with coatings and lamination. The non-destructivity, which means that the measured IG units can be delivered to the customer. Then we have the easy and quick measuring due to the feature of the device. Also, the Laser Portable is easy to move and handle. And then the technical support is possible through remote connections. And finally, what we've been talking about, the portability, which enables that the measuring can be done in any point of the production flow, but also at the construction site and even after the installation of the windows and doors. I thank you all for your attention and hope that we can help you in the future. Please be in touch with us, Sparklike, or our distributors. Thank you.